In the previous lecture, we added a guard directly within a route object. In this one, we're going to see how to add the guard within the Vue profile component instead. This means that the guard is going to be applied to every route that uses this component. To do this, we have a hook available to us named beforeRouteEnter. As the name implies, this hook is invoked before routing to the component, so before the route has been confirmed. The hook takes the same arguments as you saw in the previous lecture. So let's add a script tag to the component, export a default object as always, and add the beforeRouteEnter hook, as well as the parameters. As for the implementation of the hook, I can just copy the implementation from the route entry, because it's going to be exactly the same. So let's copy it from the routes file. And actually I'll go ahead and remove this because we no longer need it here. And paste it in here within the component. Since the implementation uses the auth object, I have to copy the import as well. So let's go back to the routes file, take this import, cut it, and insert it at the top of the script tag here. If I open the browser, we should see exactly the same behavior as we had before. So let's just quickly try. And that looks exactly the same. We have just moved the guard to the component itself, so the guard will apply to every route that uses this component. An important thing to note here is that within the beforeRouteEnter hook, we cannot access data properties, methods, etc. on a component, because at the point in time this hook is invoked, the component has not yet been created. This is because the component is only created after the route has been confirmed. You may also pass a callback function to the next invocation. This callback would then be invoked whenever the navigation is confirmed, and the component will be passed as an argument to the callback, meaning that you can access data properties, methods, etc. on that argument. Next, I'm going to show you another hook named beforeRouteUpdate. This hook is invoked when the route that renders the component has changed and the component is being reused. This is what you have seen earlier when clicking a related product. We solved the issue of our component not reacting to route changes earlier by watching the $route object for changes, as well as watching an incoming property from the router. The same can, however, be done with the beforeRouteUpdate hook, so let's refactor the code we wrote earlier to make use of this hook instead. I'll begin by adding the hook, which takes the same 3 arguments as the other hook that we just added. Okay, so let's open the Vue product component and add the hook. I'll just add it below the created lifecycle hook. So beforeRouteUpdate and the 3 parameters. Since I'm not interested in deciding whether or not the navigation should be cancelled, I can just invoke the next callback without any arguments in any case. Right now we have a watcher for the discount query parameter for updating the discount whenever the query parameter changes. We can move this to the new hook because this hook will be invoked when query parameters change as well. So I can simply copy the assignment of the discount data property and remove the watcher entirely. So let's find it right here and remove the watcher. Go down to the new hook and paste in what I just copied. Of course, I now need to replace the new value variable with something else. Since the to parameter is a route object, I can retrieve the query parameter from there. So I can write to.query being the object of query parameters containing key value pairs dot discount. Notice how I can access data properties and methods on the component in this hook, because at this point in time, the component has already been created. That's it for updating the discount, but we also need to update the product when the ID in the URL changes. We currently have a watcher for the product ID parameter, but we can actually move the line that updates the product to our new hook as well. So let's take this line right here and move it up to the new hook. Paste it in right there. And again, we need to replace the new value variable with something else, where we can also use the toParameter and its params property. So to.params.productID. And with that, I can now remove the watch object altogether. So let's get rid of this. And of course, let's ensure that our code still works. So let me refresh the page. Let's click an image to open a product and click a related product. Great, so everything still works. We have now greatly simplified our code to handle whenever the route changes. There is one last thing I want to show you in this lecture. A third hook actually. This one is named before route leave and is invoked when the user tries to navigate away from the route's component. Let's implement so that the user has to confirm leaving the cart if items have been added to it. So let's open the cart component, go down to the script section and add this new hook named before route leave, taking the same arguments as before. And here I'll check if this.cart.items, remember that we have this available from the props that you see above, .length is greater than 0. Then we want to ask the user to confirm the navigation, so we can use the confirm function with a message. Are you sure that you don't want to buy these awesome products? If this evaluates to false, the user has cancelled the navigation, and then we can return next and pass in false to cancel the navigation. As always, let's test it out. So I'll go to the front page, refresh the page, and I will add a product or two to the cart and open it up. Now I'll try to navigate away from the cart, and as you can see, now we have a prompt asking if we are really sure that we want to leave. First I'll try to cancel. Now I stay on this route, but if I do it again and click OK, I should be navigated away, which I'm not, because actually I forgot to always invoke the next callback here. So let's just try again. Add a couple of items to the cart. And now if I navigate away and click OK, now I'm getting sent to the front page. And that's all for this lecture. We saw how to add guards directly to components with a hook, but also how to listen to route changes and potentially preventing the user from leaving a component.